how do you think we can make our roads less congested, Jamie? So transport level 2 free. Jamie, hello.
Hello.
Jamie, do you often use public transport?
I use public transport, every week.
For example, like what forms of transportation do you use usually?
Mostly the subway, from time to time the bus, and on the very odd occasion taxis, but they're not really necessary because Fukuoka is small enough to walk around. Yeah.
What do you think of public transport in Fukuoka?
It's really good. It's always on time, or for the most part, it's on time. The subway is always on time. The buses are usually run pretty much on time. It's clean, safe, well maintained, and it's great compared to other places I've been.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? There's not much to complain about, is there?
No, there's nothing to complain about, and I love complaining.
Yeah, it's very reliable, like super reliable.
Yeah.
Even the buses run on time, which is great,
They do indeed. They do indeed.
So it's something about Japan, where everything is like on time. It's amazing.
Well, coming from the northwest of Scotland, in rural Scotland, where the buses turn up late and there's no apologies, and then bus drivers will actually stop and have a quick chat with each other in the middle of the street while you're on the bus. It's almost incomparable. No joke.
I know. I mean, like, that's not surprising. I mean, I think in Greece it's even worse. The bus drivers in Greece, they think of the bus as their own personal property. And I'm not joking. I mean, at least they did. I don't know if it has changed. So for something that is actually so good, what is your favorite form of public transport in Fukuoka, Jamie?
It's the subway.
A subway, right?
It's the subway, basically because I always live somewhere near the airport line, every house that I've had, and it's just really convenient. And my workplaces are all near the subway as well, and it just runs on time, and it's not too crowded. How about yourself?
My favorite form of public transportation is maybe a train I took like a couple of years back, and it was in our car. There was a bar, and there was like a draft beer like machine you could use freely. That is my favorite form of public transport.
There is no way that's ever happening on a British train.
Actually, no. Was it freely? I don't remember. Like maybe the details have been mixed up in my brain. But I remember there was a lot of beer there, and maybe I actually had to pay for it. But
still, it sounds pretty good.
But I like that. That was a nice way. Well, so talking about how amazing public transport is in Fukuoka and in Japan in general, how do you think it could be even improve, be even better?
I don't have so many complaints about the actual service itself. The one thing that bothers me about public transportation in Fukuoka is the amount of announcements. After some time on the bus, I start to lose my mind. I think that they should be less. And one other thing, I just wish that Fukuoka would really get its subway, linked. I think it's in the works, but at the moment there are some very strange gaps between areas of subway where the subway runs in Fukuoka, and so
if you remember, we had the collapse of the street as well, a few years back, didn't we, in Hakata?
We did. They fixed that,
and we are lucky not to have any victims from that. How do you think we can make our roads less congested, Jamie?
Maybe something like they have in London, which is those zones of extremely high priced parking so that people don't bring their cars all the way into the city. Something like that. I don't know, make driving more expensive, put extra taxes on driving. I personally would. I don't think I will ever drive a car again in my life. I don't see the need for one really, particularly.
I always thought that the center of Fukuoka City should be pedestrianized, really. Everything from Watanabe Street to Kokutai Watanabe to Kokutai Street, and then from the other side, like that square there where Tenjin is located. I always thought this needs to be pedestrianized, especially at weekends. You know, like I don't really understand why cars have to go in there.
I imagine it must be incredibly difficult to drive through there. Yeah, it must just take time at the weekends.
So, and I think if it were pedestrianized, it would open up like so many like nice economic activity, like, you know, outside cafes, outside restaurants. It would be really, really nice actually to go there. I think that's something that probably should be done in the future.
Well, when you're mayor of Fukuoka City, you can make it so.
I will keep that in mind. Jamie, have you ever used public transport in a different city? Of course you have. How does it differ from Fukuoka's public transportation system? How is public transport in your country? You mentioned something about the buses being not that professional.
It's, other cities, my area is pretty rural. So there's a kind of very relaxed attitude towards time and availability. So the buses run about 4 or 5 times a day from where I live to the nearest town. The first one being like 8 in the morning and the last one being very, early finish. So in Fukuoka, they'd run for much longer. And the trains, I can't really compare. The train that goes to the city from where I'm from is habitually over 30 to 40 minutes late. Sometimes just doesn't run at all for whatever reason. So yeah, it's Fukuoka wins hands down when it comes to like Northwest Scottish public transport.
How has public transport changed in Japan over the years? You've been here for over 15 years, Jamie. Over the last 50 years, how has it changed? Have you noticed anything?
Yeah, there's more English. When I first came here, it was actually quite difficult to find your way around. There was very little signposted in English, or it was signposted in indecipherable English sometimes. But nowadays, I can see more English appearing and Chinese and Korean for those people as well. So, I think they've just made it a little bit more accessible for foreigners. And what else in Fukuoka? I mean, when I first got here, there was no Nanakuma line. So the subway just had one line. And I think that they're going to link all those. So those are the 2 things that come to mind. Anything else spring to mind for you?
No. I mean, like this. The Nanakuma line is the big one, isn't it? And I suppose the bullet train to Kagoshima as well. Kumamoto and Kagoshima. That's also a semi-recent development, maybe 5-10 years ago.
Something like
that. You're right about the English thing. It has become much easier to communicate to people in English.
Yes, it has.
Any Japanese, right? Well, what do you think about the future? Well, how do you think transport is going to change in the future, Jamie?
I don't know. I suppose I don't know. I suppose that, or I hope that there will be more people using public transport in the future and less traffic on the roads, from like a sort of ecological, viewpoint. So I would assume that public transport will be cleaner, cheaper, and more available to allow less people or have less traffic on the roads. Apart from that, I'm not sure. Maybe cars will change. There'll be less gas guzzlers and more electric cars. Yeah.
This already happens. I mean, it's something that is already happening, right?
It's happening. Yeah.
It's probably going to continue in the future too. I think it's going to be greener too, like eco-friendlier in the future. I suppose it could be autonomous as well. Maybe we're not going to have drivers anymore. from the buses or the trains. Maybe they are like self-driven. That's it. Jamie, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
You too.